Okay, y'all, we are on episode 5 for PValley. And tonight, ooh, it was too many laughable moments. I wish I was better at this so I could watch it along on the side and y'all could see my honest reaction at that moment because it was too many hilarious points with Lil Murder, more than anybody. Tonight, let's just call this episode, if you don't do nothing else, you need to remember numbers. Remember numbers in the event you get locked up in a situation and need to call somebody looking for help, especially on bail. They don't care. And the lawyer numbers that posted most of the jails, they don't even put up lawyer attorney numbers. They usually put up bail bonds with numbers. Look, I ain't been to every jail. I just know between Louisiana, Wisconsin, and most of them around the southeast, so Georgia, Mississippi, Alabama, they'll let you know the bondsman, but you gotta usually catch the bondsman when you coming in the pickup, and they'll have like a number that's easy to remember, like 400-0000. Whoever has those easier numbers, so when you're in a tank or you on holding for 48, 24 hours, you'll be able to get that. Baby. Okay, moving on. That's the theme of tonight. Remember numbers. Memorize numbers. You won't always have your cell phone available. So yes, you see in my little side, press and go. If I get sick in 14 days, we know it's because the lady at JCPenney gave me coronavirus. But we opened the show. I know it was right? Really exciting. Mississippi is in spread eagle coming down the pole and just drops. I was like, oh, the talent. Y'all, I know you they do this all the time at the strip clubs. I don't know. Because for the most part, in New Orleans, ladies are not allowed in where women are performing. You have to be outside and peep through the hole or watch through the open shutters, whatever you can be. And in other places, doesn't really matter. Honestly. Wisconsin still has cabaret. They don't even get completely undressed if they sell liquor. That was shocking to me. Okay, I guess we do things a little different in Louisiana. But whatever. At the end of the day, it was too cute. Lil Murder blasting music all around while sister's celebrating her divorce. That's how she appears at the bar. And I like how they showed the ladies having a good time with the strippers. That was the sister who was there to celebrate her divorce, was also taking the lap dances from Gidget, Cedes, everybody in between, missed a little spot. It was a whole nother story tonight. I was doing the most. And I should have stayed in my little position so you don't see it. But ignore that. Here's the thing. Mississippi spoke life into that hurting divorcee. She took it by the face. Although Mississippi doesn't seem to be encouraging her own self right now to leave this relationship she's in that's kind of abusive, she at least has the empathy and the emotional intelligence to talk to someone else about, you know what? It doesn't matter. You'll find something better. He's not the one, and that's okay. Child, the lady did pass out and they took all her money and ran. Her and Gidget. Let's grab this bag, girl, and get on. Okay. Cut to Uncle Clifford brushing his face it's the next morning. Shirley Murdoch style. It's morning. And he still brushing that little facial hair. And Little Murder on the couch. Laid out. We see full butt, bare naked. Turned to us from the ankle to the neck. I mean, they zoomed in on those tattoos. The director tonight was Miss Patel. Geeta Patel? I looked her up to see. Let's see if her style makes a difference. I don't recall the other things she's directed, but I did a quick look up while I was watching the show, and I really want to pay attention and focus on the show and not just talk about, Lil Murder sitting over there butt bare ass naked. Excuse the language. I don't even know if that's allowed, but I think ass may be an okay, acceptable word because we could be talking about a donkey. But normally I say I spell it as if it's British, ARSE. Anyway, it's worth it. That couch, though, made me question, how old is it and is it clean? Not just because of Corona. I worry about... Look, we don't just lay kids down on the couch where I'm from. You got to lay a little piece of fabric down first, then you lay them down. Because you don't know who all been sitting down. And I got a cousin them who has what is known as the booty couch. So I'm like, so has somebody been on here with a naked booty? Or is it just everybody always on this couch? What's going on here? Let's move along. I did have to question, what were Uncle Murder? No. I said Uncle Murder. Child, that must be the rapper I'm thinking. Clifford. Uncle Clifford, what were his thoughts? Well, y'all tell me what you thought, what you consider, what you thought. You just let me know were your thoughts were for Clifford? What was he looking into, thinking about as he was brushing his face, looking at Murder lay out on that couch for the night? Because he did look like he was really deep in thought. And maybe it was just like, I think I may like him more than anything else. Who knows? Anyway, the ladies walk up on the Pynk with the pink foreclosure notice on the door. Like 14 days and you have to go. Clifford steps out, and it is hilarious to see Uncle Clifford stress everybody out loud. Oh, is Mercedes dead? Not my baby kind of thing. It's like, oh my Lord. Clifford is one of those ladies. I think Living Color did a good job on that when Kim Wayans would do it. The woman screaming in the neighborhood just to be making noise and then talk dirt on people. Well, everybody's standing around. Tells Clifford, no, we ain't standing around because Mercedes. We don't even know about Mercedes, but we know about this foreclosure. What's going on? The Pynk closing? Yeah, they get real added extra when they say the Pynk, and no one ever says pink. But, oh, okay. With that being said, Uncle Clifford gets called out and it's like, don't worry about that. And then turns around, falls out like a Looney Tunes character from the cartoons we watch growing up. And is like devastated. One leg in the air. Oh, and falls out. No one even goes to help her at all. They just like, whatever. What? Okay. We then cut to, I'm at the jail. The local jail, which they ultimately explain. With a flashback of Mercedes using somebody's wallet to give money in church. It was one of the patrons who disrespected her after she said, stop touching, don't touch. And then she had to break a bottle and basically threaten him. And then Diamond comes in and handles it. Well, he's a correctional officer at the local jail. And this is the part I didn't like. And I don't even want to make fun of it because I know how true it is. Especially down south. And I also know how we just find a way to abuse the most vulnerable. Look, you ain't got to like the folks in lockup. You ain't got to never appreciate them. You can be disgusted by them and their charges until the day that they die. But let me tell you right now, based on the law, you are legally responsible to care for people who are in your care. Otherwise, get them out your custody. So anyway, they got everybody squeezed in between two cells. Women in one holding cell and male identifiers in another holding cell. I say it like that, male identifiers, because there was a young lady who screamed, I don't belong in here with all these men. And the correctional officer or the jailer, because it's a local jail, was like, so he's a deputy. Anyway, it ain't our choice. It's how God made you. What? It was just like, okay, that is a real issue, but I was just shocked how they portrayed that really well. The aggression from a deputy or a correctional officer, yeah, it happens. They talk to you any kind of way. They talk to you like you less than, you're not a human, or you're somehow inconveniencing them. But if you think about it, it's like, I wouldn't have this job if this person wasn't locked up. So what's the big deal? I can interact with you like you're still a human, even if you are awaiting trial or awaiting bail or have been sentenced and convicted and now you're just here. Child. Now y'all see why I can't do it. It ain't even just that. You can't talk to me crazy in lockup, but it's the loss of freedom. I can tell you that for a fact. Like, I would be ready to cause more trouble and get extended time. Anyway, the jailer also put Mercedes' business in the street with her sister Patrice Woodbine. Child, I know, right? I'm still calling her sister Patrice Woodbine. She walks in. Oh, I'm sorry, I can see it in the back. Y'all see my photo from Debutantes, that wedding looking photo with the hair? Ooh, now look at WAP, video with Cardi and Megan Thee Stallion bringing my hairstyle back. Yes, tall, high, I didn't do pin curls in that, but I got even taller pictures on the other side. At any rate, the thing about the jail holding situation, he announced it to everyone. Look, you don't discuss people's charges. A sister did cover that very well in the holding cell. Hold on, we ain't supposed to discuss charges. She's right. You don't do that. The only way you get to find out somebody's charges is if somebody's snitching or it runs on the local TV and it's a big deal and you go in the SEG population. You do it for the person's, especially if it's a sex offender charge. You do it for their safety and for the general well-being of the jail. It matters. There are rules and there are levels, yes, in every correctional facility. The end. Whether it's a full-time, state, federal, or for-profit. Anywho, he announced to everybody, yeah, and you and your mom don't go beating up on your mama no more. What? And so the older black lady, who originally was worried for both of them, was like, look, these kids so disrespectful nowadays. They don't respect their elders. I was so glad Mercedes spoke up. Again, I don't condone it. I understand. Like, this woman just stole everything from me. Everything that I've ever had. And then used it in the name of God, according to her. What are y'all talking about? I've been wronged here. But it's that environment. I mean, it's not just because it's down south. It's a church environment. I can see other people being like, but it's for a greater good. It's for God. It's for if to save souls. Get over it. And she's your mama. Ignore it. And I'm really glad that this conversation is taking place, not just on screen and film, because it really picked up with someone who wrote a Madame Noir like personal opinion piece of how black mothers don't need any extra rehabilitation to how they're perceived in the community, how they're received in the community. But ultimately, we have to be able to have these conversations where black mothers have crossed the line or somehow just went too far when interacting with their kids, especially when it comes to black mothers and their daughters. I personally couldn't understand a lot in that article, but I know a lot of people who felt it resonated with them. I think this portrayal of Mercedes or Cedes fighting with Sister Patrice Woodbine shows it, and having that, again, that trauma from being a young child with a shapely body, with a mother that resents it. And it sounded like as they fought between one another in the jail cell, because trust me, the jailer tried to keep them apart, be like, the 50-yard line is what it is. We learned the only reason why everyone's split between two, one of the cells does not lock and the toilet is backed up in the other one. So yeah, that is wholly illegal. You can't just have people around with no access to toilet facilities or running water. Like, that's federal lawsuit illegal. And, hell, like the sheriff ultimately said, what Sheriff Bailey said, hold on, it's legal enough. Well, it's Mississippi. It's legal enough. I said, oh, that's like the state of the United States right now. Like, yo, that should be our tagline. America's baby daddy. Quote, quote, it's legal enough. You know, that is not how legality works. Is it legal enough? Oh, God, y'all, I'm sorry. This spot is going to bother me, but I wanted to get this out tonight. I really did. So y'all can make fun of that in the comments, please. Or pass it on to somebody else. Yeah, share this video. Subscribe. And then enter in the giveaway. But we're going to cut to Autumn Night's hustling pimp of a boo / man. Montavious Hill shows up searching for his quote-unquote wife. So I was like, the sheriff, Bailey, wait a minute. There's a lot of space between Houston and Chucalissa. What would, lead you here? He breaks into that one little drop of a tear, whining. And I know it's hard seeing men cry. So the sheriff tries to go along with the process of, well, can you at least email me a picture of her and we can keep an eye out? I thought that was nice. Uncle Clifford comes to the jail to talk to Sheriff Bailey about this foreclosure. Why is he getting 14 days? Is it legal? I thought that was really telling, because I know people do this every day. They'll just ask anybody, honey, the cops can't tell you what's legal or not. The sheriff either. They think they have the law because they practice it in one way. But they're not practicing law. They're practicing the execution of enforcement. That's it. So what they learned in enforcement is a statute code and a few policies and procedures and how it gets enacted on people, or what they should do. They can't tell you what's legal or not. You need to go see an attorney. And I was very shocked at Uncle Clifford, because Uncle Clifford walks with not just gravitas, like a confidence that lets you know he doesn't just take stuff lying down. He's going to go research and look into things. So it was really shocking. He didn't just call the next attorney in town or get the yellow pages. Yeah, baby, I suspect Chucalissa still got yellow pages. Hell, they had a payphone. Come on, y'all. Not all jails have those. But anyway, just a throwback. So he asked the sheriff, and he identified the understanding that they have. And Sheriff Bailey highlights, look here, you do pay, but you running some things I don't appreciate. Like, basically the sheriff has a brain and he utilizes it. And he talks about it. Clifford got confused, but he questioned it. He was like, all laws ain't legal and everything ain't right. So basically, he gave a scripture version of what he was trying to say, and Clifford dismissed it. I would too. Because look, Some laws, like we have laws in the book that you can't chew gum, and if you're caught spitting gum out on the sidewalk or the street, it's a violation. And in certain places like Mississippi, I think it's a felony at this point, but it's a dead law that's still in the book. No one enforces it, but it's those kind of laws we need to go back and revisit and get them off the books completely. Because when someone pushes a random enforcement, when they don't like you, they'll enforce a law. When they do like you, they'll let it go. It's all right. So old girl who they brought in, who was celebrating her divorce from the Pynk, was drunk driving, speeding, almost ran into Autumn Night at the check cash and transfer place. She ends up in lockup, and apparently she has a nice voice, but she ain't too stupid, because like she said, you want Aretha, you're going to have to put more than a coin in my mouth for me to sing Aretha. I was like, all right then, but go on with yourself. Anywho, they're there. Mercedes is in lockup wearing just her floss, the shiny one that they gave her and dressed her with for that night. Her mother is there looking rough. They played it on the TV news. Yeah, I'm sounding like old folks now. The TV news that the local pastor was attacked by a stripper. I was like, yeah, they'll say anything to sell you the story to make you click. But y'all, how and why Mercedes is more worked up about Mississippi dancing in her place and actually getting out? Yeah, I'm jumping ahead just a tad. Because Uncle Clifford was told by Sheriff Bailey, I got one of your girls in lockup. What? And he was like, yeah, Lexus, Mercedes. And I love how Clifford jumped to that. Like, this is my child. This is the only child I'm going to, because I can't have kids, basically. Take me to my daughter now. And so Clifford gets to see her. They talk. They only have 2 minutes. And one of the drunk lady with the DUI lets Mercedes know, you're Mercedes, this has got to be a dream. I took half of my settlement for my divorce and come see you on the final night. And it wasn't you who danced, though. They had another girl in your place. So Mercedes was offended and asked Clifford about it. And I was like, girl, can you focus on, hey, can you get me out first and then go be pissed that somebody danced in your place? And I get it to some extent. This would have been your big night. But she made it real clear when she got with Autumn Night later on, she's never going back. So why would you care who was the person who had the dance? At the end of the day, she also knows about Uncle Clifford's like foreclosure situation. So in my mind, I would think you expected someone to dance, right? Because, hello, the money needs to still be made. And it hasn't been made just yet. So forget the color and everything like that. We're going to cut to Gidget's at home, crushing up pills, making a smoothie for her belligerent, yelling mother. I don't know what's that about. Mercedes finally gets to make a phone call, and she says it out loud. You know you're the only number I have memorized. But I thought it was nice that when they cut through Gidget's house before they got to her at the smoothie at the blender, they have a picture of Gidget in Mississippi, Keyshawn, on the TV stand. And I was like, oh, they really have a cute friendship then. Okay, I can like that. Now, this is where I get perplexed. Mercedes tells Gidget it's going to be like $2,000 to get me out. Gidget didn't sound too excited. Like, she threw it back in her face. I thought you got your money saved up. Yeah. Like, you threw it in our face. And Mercedes tell her, my mama took it all. Y'all, it's just sad to even hear that. It just, ugh. Anywho, so Gidget gets the other girls together. We learned that the lady one of the dancers who was the nurse is called Valerie. The bartender that I asked about earlier, and I was like, y'all, she looks familiar. Who is she? Thank you for the comments. That's Yoli. And Keyshawn, all marching with bags on their shoulder. So I'm like, even if you got $500, you know what? I just answered it for myself. They're marching with bags because they keep money in ones. And so carrying a bunch of ones, you need a big bag to get it to wherever. I'm perplexed why they had to go to a bondsman. Look, I'm from the deep South. I know we don't do a lot of things. You can't do nothing without a bondsman, actually. And maybe that's the situation they're trying to portray here. But my understanding is when you got all the money, and maybe because I've been dealing with Wisconsin and a few Midwest states for so long, Minnesota as well, you just walk up to the jail and take care of it, and you drop it there. But it could be a security issues, like being in escrow, putting something in a place, like a trust account, and the bondsman handles that, versus the jail getting involved to do so. But they do a good job of releasing your money when you get out and the check is cut and comes right back to you. Even North Carolina. Like, you got the money, come on. But anyway, let's move on. Whatever they took you in with, whatever you had on you, when you were taken into custody, I've seen them do really well in giving it back. They didn't steal, okay? That's impressive. Because some places do steal. Yes, some jails, some municipalities don't return everything they brought you in with. Even belts. Shoes. If they like the shoes you came in with, you may not get them back. So, catch you how you living. That's the best I can tell you. Anyway, when they go back to the jail again, because the bondsman basically flips on the strippers and tries them. Like, oh, y'all so fine. Look, you can either give me this or you can give me some pussy, and then maybe we could talk about it. Because ultimately he says, and let me give y'all the exact number. $5,358.34 for ticket, fees, and fines. I would say, baby, I don't know what Cedes been parking, but I understand. We go from $2,000 to $5,358.34. Yes, I had to write that exact number down. So that's what you see me doing, looking at my phone over here for my notes. Because I was like, what? Ladies, everyone, that's more than double. You want me to come up with 70% more than what you told me? So Gidget did try to rally the troops and say, hey, Cedes will do it for you. They wouldn't. Yoli tells Valerie, let's go. Apparently they're a couple, kiss and go on by their business. Keyshawn is like, yeah, this is on her. These are all having to do with her. And all I could think was, y'all just got that stack from the drunk divorcee. You couldn't use that money you just snuck off with her? I guess not. So we can see it's going to lead up to Autumn Night. It's going to be the one that buns Mercedes out. And ultimately they show us that. Excuse me. Moving on, we get back to the jail, and honey, the older black lady who was like, these kids so disrespectful nowadays for fighting their parents, for stealing all their money from them. Basically, ma'am, I'd be like, ma'am, believe it or not, my elders told me not to be disrespectful, but I'm going to have to let you have it. She took everything in the name of the Lord, and y'all don't see nothing wrong with that. What kind of Christianity is this? You know? I would go in on everybody else that's there. Anyway, the crowd starts to turn against Mama P. Let's just call her Mama P. Like Master P, but more gutter. Master P even is more honorable than that. He pays people what he owes them, you know? Mama P like, oh, that's money? Let me get it from you. I'm so grateful I didn't have one of them mamas. Drop in the comments if you know some individuals who had one of them mamas. Like the kids go work little jobs during high school, and the mama would take a cut, or the kids would have to pay a da. No, I mean I had to contribute towards a bill, but that was the teacher responsibility. If I did, I did. If I didn't, I didn't. But I was a responsible kid, so it was gonna happen. I'm rolling my eyes hard. Like, how do you take your child's money and then try to do it in the name of God and say the Lord told you to open up a church? Well, open up the church, but not with her money. Or you could have even went and talked to her and said, hey, once you get your dance studio going, I can use it on Sundays and Wednesday night, please. And then I can run my church. Baby, it ain't enough until she just, I don't know, denigrating her. But the holding cell starts to question Mama P. Are you even a good preacher? So, of course, it's the Deep South. She starts singing and praying. And Sadie said, no. She a pimp trying to be a pastor. That's the first thing. But of course, the ladies are starting to side with Cedes over Mama P. But after they started singing and selling forgiveness, so they get right in line accepting Mama P as the church leader. I wish I can cut my eyes even lower, because that irked me. It ticked me straight off. But anyway, my point, I'm really glad Mercedes, because she kept Mama P beg for forgiveness. She tried to give her examples of how you couldn't judge me. She tried to let her know God forgave me, so you got to forgive me. And I'm just super glad. Mercedes didn't fall for it. She whispered in her ear and said, I will never forgive you. I don't have a mother. I'm okay with that. Because Mercedes poured her heart out to those ladies in the holding cell, which ultimately she was telling her mother. I was using that money so I can get my daughter back. This is where we get a little insight as to what happened. So it sounds like Mercedes slept with some man, came up pregnant, and the wife of that man stood in to take care of that child. Because P was like, it's a double blessing to her. She going to take care of some other woman's child. So you should leave her where she at. She can't leave that big fine house to come be with you. And Mercedes explains, well, the courts even said, if I have a stable income, I have a real job, these are the things I can do to get my child back. You know, I was more perplexed, like, but she's in high school. Like mine is, look, family court is on beast. They will talk to that child. And the child says, yes, I want to go. She looks of age, ninth grade, 10th grade, 11th grade. They will take that into consideration and usually make that move. But I was like, who expects this to happen? Teenagers are fickle. Well, all kids are fickle, but hey, Mercedes has high hope, which further lets you know she is a mother that cares. She's just apparently was a young mother because wait a minute, how they playing this role? If that girl like 14 and Mercedes 25, so she was like 11. I don't know. Mama P kind of alluded. It wasn't just that like the man cheated, but it's like seeing that child every day. So I feel like there's going to be a backstory that comes out that whomever Mama P coupled with either made moves on Mercedes or raped her as a child. Because that's just what that is, rape. Nothing else. We're not going to get into a discussion and call it something else. Kids cannot consent. The end. With that, y'all, let me know. Are you picking up on that same thing? When Mama P was yelling at Mercedes in jail and trying to talk down to her, that there's something else in undercurrent as to why they just can't get along, and it's not just because Mama P pimped out Mercedes. It's something extra. Because somebody said, ooh, a booty like that got to be a blessing. And that's when, Mama P spoke up with the hate because she came back from the phone call and the correctional officer, jailer, deputy offered her his jacket. And she said, no, thank you. And I understand why. It's jail, honey. You take a favor, you're going to owe to two. That one jacket will end up costing you in the long run. And he's like, look, it gets cold at night. But back to the club. Because I want to omit, cut to the mayor at the barbershop telling corny jokes. And Uncle Clifford walks in, talks to everybody. They tried to even come at him sideways. Shouldn't you be at the beauty shop? I mean, look, y'all. Even I used to have to go to the barbershop when I got my hair cut really, really close and was wearing those tight curls because my beautician was also a barber. At any rate, and I would never pay for a hot seat. Yeah, a hot seat in New Orleans, easily dudes would drop $100, $300 to get in the chair first, and that would bump everybody else down. I said, baby, this could only happen in the barbershop because they done in like 20 minutes. You try that. I couldn't even see that going down in a black beauty shop. For hair, and I done sat here all day and they already slow and ain't no helper to do the wash and get me under the dress. I wouldn't care if they paid $1,000 a jump a seat. You don't jump seats and I can't see it. Y'all, if y'all know a place where you could jump seats at a black beauty shop, let me know in the comments, please. I appreciate that. And if you made it thus far, thank you. You're a real trooper. I like you. Okay, so we're gonna move on to little murder at the club throwing dollars while Mississippi about to give me a stroke. She was on that pole, y'all. She was really Jesus on that pole. And I just knew, okay, is she gonna fall? Is she gonna give up? Does she got pole burning in? What's going on? But no, she was taking it all in because through the whole episode, she was giving everybody her count. She was so proud of how she was blowing up like from 4,000 to 10,000 to 207 and some thousand views. Look, right now I'm just at 100 and something. And y'all see, I will be like, hey, Cabbage Patch Tootsie Roll. So for her 200 and some thousand views and now she back on the pole, yeah. Mississippi, M-I, crooked letter I, she feeling herself. So I'm okay with that. I support that. But Little Murder throwing money while his song playing, while Mississippi dancing to it, then goes to see Uncle Clifford. And your boy, how he know how to get back here? Uncle Clifford, ain't it time for your break? I ain't had a break since 1999. Ooh, y'all, it was so black. Like, why did we have to do that to each other? But I understand. When you ain't had a break, you ain't had a break. I understand, because I ain't had a break. I'm finna get to work once I hang up with y'all. But anyway, let's get on back to Lil Murder going in to talk to Uncle Clifford to make it known. He has heard about the foreclosure situation, and he is questioning Clifford. So you going to be dry with me now? Like last night didn't happen? He was like, look, that ain't, no, we ain't going to worry about that. And so Clifford's like, you need to let it go. Lil Murder was like, no, you need to let me take you out. I heard about your foreclosure situation. You need to go out. So Clifford, unfortunately, and very sadly, gave us backstory about, two gay men. I can't recall if they were trans or not, but at any rate, who came up dead by the river. The two lesbians who were gang raped because they were out enjoying life. I mean, That was hard. So I'm gonna try and gloss over it now, not because it's not important, but I'll start crying. Just as simple as that. I mean, nobody should have to die because they're out in public and people want to be ignorant. Just honestly, it's so disheartening. At any rate, Uncle Clifford said something else and was like, "Look, little murder, no, Lamarcus, ooh, y'all, ooh, he was so sexy when he decided to check Uncle Clifford on giving his full government name. I was like, all right then. And then of course Uncle Clifford conveyed it as well too with the okay, Lamarcus. I did have to clap. So that's why I wanted to, like, I wish I could show you in real time. I'm not as stoic as I am telling these stories now. But this is getting long. It's already 30 and hell, the show is as long as this review at this point. But either way, we get noticed. Diamonds alerts the ladies. Keyshawn's abusive baby daddy has shown up. I am so grateful. Shout out to the writers for bringing the diversity to the table. Keyshawn, abusive baby daddy, is a Caucasian boy named Derek. And it needs to be shown. Because let's always remember, it can come in multifaceted, different dynamics, and it doesn't have to be a presumptuous black on black anything. People see other people, and we do cross genders, colors, races, ethnicities. Yes, race and ethnicity is two different things. Ugh. But anyway, moving along, and it was useful to see. He seemed contrite. The ladies seemed nervous for Keyshawn, like, hey, you think he saw that video? You know, basically with her blowing up on the pole. And they was like, look, if y'all said other planets have seen it, you know he done seen it. So we all worried. Like, is he finna do her something in the back of the club? Yeah, I said do her something. At the Pynk. Thankfully, Diamond hung around, smoking on his cancer stick. And Derek wanted to seem, I don't know, not just unapologetic, but it just seemed like he was sincere. But don't fall for it. Ladies. Gentlemen too, because men do get abused by women or other men. Don't fall for it. I don't care how polite he's acting now. He whooped your ass once. Okay. But he whooped your ass twice or left you with some bruises. Don't fall for it. I'm impressed he's able to share custody with the kids and interact with them. And he did question, when you dancing, what the kid be? And who watches the kid? She said everybody. And she right. Hell, I'll go work for Uncle Clifford with that free babysitting. I think I talked about that in the second episode, if not the first. I'm serious. Free babysitting makes a world of a difference. I could have finished school earlier if I had, like, dedicated on-site free, not, like, babysitting back home or some stuff like that. Either way, I am here for Lamarcus because Keyshawn tried to get back into the Pynk. And at some point, like the back door to the office where I'm pointing over here, like y'all can see this, me using this door as an example, where Lamarcus and Uncle Clifford are, you can see like an opening of the blinds because she couldn't get anybody to buzz her in. And she saw Lamarcus and Uncle Clifford kissing. And so they were worried and nervous. And Uncle Clifford said, I'll handle it. Lamarcus, I got this. When a man takes charge, I'm telling y'all, it's too cute and I'm ready for it. So let's hope all this masculine energy works out to be super positive, super respectful, and super loving throughout the year. So we get season 2. Season 2 has already been greenlit. Congratulations for the whole cast crew. Season 2 is greenlit. So here are the questions from tonight. Besides the takeaway, y'all, please remember numbers. How do you think Sister Patrice Woodbine is going to handle this with Mercedes getting out? Number 2, Mercedes is now working with Autumn. They basically stacking. The financial term stacking, not like stacking money. And Autumn has hit a brick wall where there's limit. There are no unlimited transfers anymore. There's a cutoff. So now she's using Mercedes. Now we learn Mercedes is not her stripper name because she tells Autumn Night, don't use my real name. Use my stripper name. So anyway, her stripper name is Crystal and Flowers, I believe. So like Uncle Clifford said, the last thing you ate and the color of underwear you're wearing or something like that. And Mercedes knows someone in town who can make IDs for them so they're able to pick up this money in the transfers. And I think it was worthwhile. I want to see where this goes. I'm hoping and anticipating Autumn Night is going to be able to save the Pynk and come up with the $55,000 in 14 days. I cannot wait to see what her baby daddy boyfriend former pimp, whomever. He just seems so gutter. Marcavius, let me look this up real fast. I'm sorry, y'all. Montavious Hill, what he's going to have to offer. Because, of course, he's at the end of the episode watching the transfer. So it looks like she's taking money. Autumn Night is taking money from Montavious Hill, the guy from her past. And that's how he was able to track her to Chuckalisa. If you saw something different or interpreted this differently, let me know. Also, if you have not subscribed to date, please consider doing so. I know most people say it at the front, but hey, you made it thus far. That means you really must like me or like something about my delivery. It'll be better another time. I promise you. This stain is bothering me. But I wanted to get this out, so I'm going to get this uploaded. I'll try and do another one in the middle of the week. You see, I learned how to do thumbnails. Ain't y'all proud of me? I basically learned YouTube wants you to get on the laptop. I don't have time. And I think it's eating up my memory on my iPad. But anyway, I'm going to cover WAP because of the hair. Simple as that. Like, I had those styles in the 90s and in the early 2000s until I cut my hair completely off and went natural. And then came back through and decided to go without relaxers. But at some point, I always bob and weave back into a relaxer. So far, not this time. With that being said, thank you for listening. Please share, subscribe, and yes, I do read the comments and I will respond. I could get up to 1 million. I will still read the comments because to me, this is the dialogue that I'm looking for. Like, hey, what did y'all think in the show? And did I miss this? And are they teaching that elsewhere? That kind of thing. Have a great day. Enjoy.